My name's Alex Stein, and I know one of the big things online is people like to watch people watch things that they really like, but I want to take a spin on that and watch something that I know I'm not going to like. So thank you for watching this, and I hope you enjoy watching me watch something that I really don't like. Fox News. Okay, we're gonna watch Ingram, What is the New Normal? This is the first video that popped up on Fox News. It's 9 minutes and it was uploaded 2 hours ago.
But first, America in shutdown, day 16. Finally, the New York Times, they saw the light today. All right, here's the headline. Malaria drug helps virus patients improve in small study. Well, the study, conducted by Chinese researchers, found that cough, fever, and pneumonia went away faster, and the disease seemed less likely to turn severe in people who received hydroxychloroquine than in a comparison group not given the drug. And this was the same paper, the newspaper, by the way, who just a few days earlier published this gem of an op-ed. No, these medicines cannot cure coronavirus. Well, similar dismissive stories were posted by the know-nothings at Vanity Fair and the Washington Post. Now, these poltroons obviously don't even know that physicians here and abroad are right now, tonight, treating COVID patients with hydroxy, sometimes adding azithromycin. And by the way, they're oftentimes successfully getting outcomes for their patients. Again, we're going to talk to one of those infectious disease docs in just a moment. And next, more on that ongoing debate about whether the virus's lethality, the mortality rate, is being overstated or misunderstood. Now remember, as I told you last night, we don't yet have an accurate picture of who has already been infected. Now, why is this? We've done all this testing, we got more testing than ever. Well, it's because many Americans have already had the COVID infection and recovered. Or in many of those, well, of course, they were never tested. And many also had no symptoms at all, and they were infected. We took drastic mitigation actions anyway, though, because experts warned us that millions and millions could die. Who would ever want to even tolerate the thought of that? But Stanford's Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, who thinks the models are off by many multiples, he spoke recently with Peter Robinson of the Hoover Institution. Watch.
I'm a little bit astounded, maybe, unless you tell me I shouldn't be, that they've shut down the economy without knowing quite what they're doing.
People plug the worst case into their models. They project forward and say 2 to 4 million deaths. Newspapers pick up the 2 to 4 million deaths. Politicians have to respond. And the scientific basis for that projection is completely, there's no study underlying that scientific projection in the sense of that number, that denominator of that number doesn't exist.
So how do we get a more accurate denominator?
If you want to know in the population how many people have had it and recovered from it, you want to know the denominator, you have to have the antibody test. You need both in the denominator. And so with the antibody test, you can get the denominator for the population fatality rate, for anything of the population. It's only in the last week and some that's become available.
But today we got mixed messages from the coronavirus task force about these antibodies testing.
Antibody testing right now is not the first thing on our priority. It is very important ultimately to be able to get a feel for what the penetrance of the infection was in society for a number of reasons. You get a better feel of what the impact had been, but also you get a better feel of what the herd immunity would be. So I can foresee in the future that when we get the facility, which we'll have for sure, I mean, ultimately you can get a test that could do this reasonably easy, and do the kind of what we call serosurveillance study. But right now, that's not our immediate problem.
Well, wait. At some level, and I've talked to the top scientists who are looking at this as well, at some level that doesn't make sense. Because we have problems beyond the current infection rate. We have millions of people out of work. And we also have vulnerable healthcare workers. So we need to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. On the importance of fast-tracking these antibodies tests, Dr. Birx gets it.
I think we owe it to the frontline healthcare providers, not only to provide them RNA tests, but many of them have been on the front line now for 4 weeks, may have become exposed. We now know they're asymptomatic. And I think really being able to tell them the peace of mind that would come from knowing you already were infected, you have antibody, you're safe from reinfection 99.9% of the time. Universities can do that by Friday. So I'm putting that challenge out to them. We're not waiting, we're asking for help now.
Yes, that was music to the ears of so many who've been examining the true models here and doing that long-term and short-term look at the true numbers, that denominator. How many were really infected and what is the mortality rate? Understanding every life is precious. Now, the antibodies test, as Dr. Birx said, it's easy, it's fast, and it's absolutely critical to understanding the true severity and reach of the virus. And then that informs what the best action is to take in response to the virus. So if we can quickly determine a true infection rate, and we determine that the true infection rate is actually far higher than we originally thought. Now, this sounds weird, but that's, in a way, actually good news, because it means more Americans now have immunity to the virus. This could get Americans out of their home confinement a lot sooner. They won't infect anyone once they're in the workplace, and they won't get it again. Now, as awful as the 4,700 plus COVID deaths are in this country, and that's an awful number, we're only beginning to see the destruction caused, of course, by crashing our economy as well.
The universal quarantine, essentially that's what we have, is incredibly costly. And people have characterized it as costly to the economy, and you get accused of being crass because you're comparing dollars with people's lives, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm actually kind of sympathetic to that. Actually, it's not just dollars to lives. It's lives to lives, right? A global economic collapse will cost lives of, I believe, millions of people, and not just in the United States. I mean, worldwide.
The president, he sees it too.
We did the right thing and we did it early. We did it early, and we stopped other people from coming into our country early. But no, that's a cost. You'll have domestic violence, you'll have violence, you'll have suicide, you'll have drug addiction. A lot of people are going to be lost. We want to get this open as soon as we can. I mean, I'll be the happiest person, so will you, everyone in this room, happy when we get the word that this is the time.
Now, it's always the right time to get better data. That means we need the true infection rate. We want to protect the lives of the vulnerable Americans out there. Meanwhile, what about our civil liberties? We're going to get our freedom back when this is all over, right?
This is going to be transformative. We're never going to be the same again. The fear that we have, the anxiety that we have, that's not just going to go away. When do we get back to normal? I don't think we get back to normal. I think we get back, or we get to a new normal.
Wait. And what new normal is that? The old normal was when your kids actually went to school. You could go to work, you could go to church if you wanted, and maybe a restaurant, or watch a sporting event, or play sports with your friends. You traveled anywhere and whenever you damn well please, without government tracking or police questioning you. That was the old normal. So if the new normal means something innocuous, like we won't buy drugs from China, well, that's great. That's a good new normal. And if it means that we stay home when we're sick and we wash our hands more, fantastic. We all want that. But if the new normal that Cuomo's talking about means abandoning the life we loved before the coronavirus, or using this crisis, as some seem to be doing, as a vehicle for advancing a left-wing freedom-killing agenda, well, count us out. And those are my thoughts at the end of the shutdown, day 16.
Oh, Okay, so what I learned from that is we really need to get testing to find out who's already had the virus, and then get those numbers in the system so that those people can go to work. And apparently it's good that a bunch of people probably had it and didn't know they had it, because now they're going to be immune to the virus and not spread it anymore. I don't know if that's 100% true, because I think you could still spread it even if you had it. They're trying to reassure the public that it's more important to go back to work than it is to adjust from this, than to learn. It's better to go back to what was right before this virus and not necessarily evolve. Yeah, that's scary that people watch this and hold their head up to these shows. Well, thanks for watching this. I don't know. I'm never gonna watch Fox News again if I don't have to. Maybe this was just a random one. I did not know what this was going to be about. I did not know. Obviously, it's going to be about coronavirus, but I mean, I see the fluff in it. You feel the camaraderie of us versus them, Republicans versus the liberal media. And they started off by saying basically everything that the liberal media says is wrong. And I hope I don't ever have to do another video like this ever again. Thanks for watching. My name's Alex Stein. Sorry you had to listen to the audio of that. I will not be putting the video of that on a split screen. Wash your hands, stay safe. Like and subscribe.